design should be involved early on as possible, because there have been incidences where business teams have invested a year and two and then asked design, can you just draw this in the Figma and then send it to developers? But that's not what design is.
Hello, Experimentation. Welcome to another episode. I'm Jason Gossett. I'm one of the new hosts here, and the product growth lead at Applica. And I'm just genuinely excited to be part of this vibrant community of like conversion-rate optimizers, product people, and experimentation nerds. Today's episode is a real treat. I'm joined by Namata Agarwal, a superstar product designer with over 17 years of experience crafting websites, digital tools, apps, and more. And today we're diving into two pretty juicy topics. One is ethical testing, a sort of fresh way to think about aligning experiments with real user needs. And the other is leaks versus puddles, a framework to help you separate urgent fires from slow burns in your product. So yeah, let's jump in. Welcome.
Thank you
So
so
yeah,
much.
yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, so Namata, you often talk about ethical testing. I've seen like I know we talked about it offline, but also yeah, I think there was some info about it online when I did some research. So yeah, how do you define it? And I guess what does it look like in day-to-day product decisions?
Well, for me, when I see experimentation, we always see a lot of references into this is a hypothesis and should be tested. But the whole experimentation, as per me, it's not just about running tests, it's about running the right tests.
Yeah.
And the ethical testing, the term comes into this place onto understanding whether we are solving the right problem or we are solving the problem stated in the hypothesis. Or sometimes a lot of people just write solutions that they want in their hypothesis. And so there is like a couple of more things deep down if we have to define even further. So it's like, for me, ethical testing is a balance between user needs and business needs. It should not, the business needs should not overpower the user needs, because the apps and the websites are being made for user needs first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then there are also like another aspects like tunnel vision, siloed decision making, siloed teamwork, and all those kind of things
Yeah.
add to that.
Yeah. Nice. So I guess how do you navigate pushback? Because there must be when you're looking at sort of business goals, and then if they conflict with what's best for the user, how do you normally go about managing that?
So best way is to integrate the test within the product itself
Yeah.
when we're working towards it, instead of keeping it as a continuous improvement time thing. But
Okay.
apart from that, we do have like frameworks in place like RISE, and we also have a core team that here at, and as well as my previous company, we have like a triangulated team between CRO, product, design, and tech.
Okay.
So together we work towards keeping the stakeholders in control.
Keep them at bay, but also yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bit more towards, I would say that try to prove with your qualitative and quantitative data that if somebody is suggesting that this is what they want. Basic
Yeah.
example, a stakeholder may want that I want this particular thing to be checkmarked by the user, interacted by the user. Keep it as a modal, flashy, on your face. Everybody will click. Your metric will be there. But is that the right solution? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting. We yeah come across that a bit as well, and normally like it's thinking about what would give you the most confidence in your hypothesis and what data points you can use, right? So it's managing, I guess, how much resource you have to spend on that versus like how quickly you need to move. Yeah, I guess carrying on from that then, in your experience, what do you think the most common mistakes are that teams make when they launch an A/B test? Um, and yeah, and I guess how do you normally go about fixing those?
I would say about launching an A/B test. is kind of like a pretty much set process. But the
Mm.
problem is a bit more ahead. When the hypothesis is created, is the hypothesis the right hypothesis? As I said earlier, it's about I see this problem. This is the solution, but is this the right problem?
Mm.
And that's when that leak and puddle thing that you mentioned earlier about
Yeah.
the framework that we have, where imagine a scenario, there is like a balloon on the ceiling, which is your problem, and then you have to pull it down, and you have a table, you put a couple of chairs on it, which
Yeah.
to and climb up to get the balloon down. So that
Mm.
chairs on a table can become a disbalanced thing, and you want to like tape them and stick them together, which is your problem X. But your underlying problem is that balloon, which is on the ceiling, which is your problem Y. So you could put a ladder instead of like stack of chairs. So it's
Yeah.
about the temporary solution, or the silo tunnel solution would be like just tape those chairs together, or somebody hold those chairs.
Yeah.
But the right solution towards get a ladder or something to reach the balloon instead.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like that. I really like that analogy. It's a good way to think about it. Is it a quick fix, or do you need something there longer term? Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I would say the thing around like hypothesis, there should be like a proper education to the people in the company across, because experimentation is not just about websites and apps. It's about
yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do with your current process, with emails, or it's a huge opportunity and scope
Yeah.
where experimentation can be done. But uh, the knowledge on the people of like if somebody's creating a hypothesis, it's the responsibility of the team who is running these A/B tests to ensure that the person who's building that hypothesis understands what an hypothesis should be,
Yeah.
and do not suggest solutions. Let the people who are experts and understand the end-to-end journey to suggest the solution.
Yeah. 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 Makes sense. I guess. Do you have any templates or like frameworks then that you? I know we've talked a little bit about one framework, but just to stress test whether a test is worth running, essentially. So yeah, do you have any sort of like guardrails in place or anything like to help with that? I guess in particular.
Yeah, we actually have we use this tool called Airtable,
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah,
pretty famous among the
yeah,
experimenters. But we do have like different columns based on like how much effort it is needed, is some kind of like research needed for this hypothesis and all of that. So there is like
okay,
a weekly thing that happens between the team to understand, can they pick this test to be a priority test or not, and so
hmm.
on and so forth. So we do have these kind of like not really like hardcore or strict framework, but more like a
Yeah.
fluid team effort that we have.
Yeah, so it's a collaborative thing between all the
Yeah,
different
yeah,
department teams.
yeah,
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah,
I think that's a good way to do it.
yeah.
Um,
I personally believe like if unless and until it's a teamwork around experimentation, if it's
yeah,
not, somebody's working in a silo, then it's doomed for a
yeah,
failure.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I struggle with that a little bit sometimes with our team. And encourage as much collaboration as possible, but sometimes you don't always have the time, so things slip through sometimes. But yeah, definitely agree with that. Um, cool. So I guess in terms, I know you mentioned about metrics and things, and I know that some stakeholders at least chase like some metrics in isolation. But so yeah, I guess how do you approach those conversations to like reframe experiments in the context of the full user journey?
That's also a nice thing, because how do you define the full user journey? Is it like a
Yeah,
linear happy path, or is it the cyclic
yeah,
thing? Because
yeah.
as per me, users travel
It's mm,
however they want to. You cannot just put them in like, this is the way I envision, just walk the stairs. You can jump, you can run, you can do whatever. So that's also
yeah,
a thing related to it, to to understand what is the journey and where in the journey would it have some butterfly effects. Like if I change something here, like if I change a primary button color at this particular screen, is that component across multiple portions on the site? And then it would change automatically. There are certain sites who are, my previous company, we had our website in like start of the site. The customer journey was more dark mode. But as things were getting added on, it was an e-commerce site. So if it gets busier as the customer follows through. So we were changing it from gradually from dark mode to light mode.
Yeah.
But a button of X color on dark mode won't look nice on the light mode. So we have to
Yeah.
find a balance to
Okay.
choose a color. So those kind of things, I would say that's when like the collaboration comes into place. We, as I said, we do have a core team, but we often invite guests. So if we need information from a content team or a backend team or somebody, we would add them as a guest in our discussions to understand if this problem, to understand the right problem, as I said.
Yeah.
And then we do have the RISE frameworks, and we have the effort mapping and the other weekly things and everything.
Yeah.
So it kind of like goes really smoothly if we have all these guardrails into place.
Okay, nice. Yeah, user journeys are very much unpredictable. So you have to like account for yeah, different paths. Um, do you have like a favorite way to visualize those journeys, or um, yeah, what do you normally use to do that to
Well,
map
I'm a bit old school here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I work more like a service designer in those
Okay.
things, even though I'm a product designer, but more like opening Miro or Fig Jam and mapping each and
Yeah.
everything and each and every scenario and everything
Okay.
around it.
Yeah.
Not just the flows, but more on like the emotions and feelings of the
Okay.
user. And we also do a lot of qualitative analysis.
Hmm.
So it's the information that we hear from users in usability testing, or how do
Hmm.
we observe things in the recordings,
Yeah.
when we see things in the surveys, all of that, the qualitative stuff gets equal importance as the quantitative stuff with what metrics do we see in Google Analytics, what metrics do we see in Content Square, those kind of things.
Okay. With the
So
qualitative analysis, do you follow like jobs to be done framework, or like with regards to like user interviews, or how do you kind of approach those?
it's there are so many different ways that a qualitative analysis can be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here at my current company, as well as my previous company, the qualitative analysis relied more with the product team, design
Okay.
team, instead of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
analytics team, which I hear in most of the CRO conferences. It's with the experimentation or the analytics team, but it's with, I have always been part of the research team
Yeah.
wherever I've worked.
Okay.
But then it's like, yeah, we do have like different, so it depends on what do you want to test, and that's when you
Yeah.
decide what kind of method do you want to use.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We've been using jobs to be done quite a bit recently. It seems to help with our sort of understanding like user needs. But yeah,
Like for
it's a
me,
different.
it is that if I hear something from a usability test, and I see the same thing in a recording, or I see the same thing in the survey replies, and
Yeah.
but I don't see that thing happening in GA4.
Oh, yeah.
But then for me, these are like three areas I heard the same thing. Uh, Here at my current company, we have almost 12, 13 brands. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a lot of data that we can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I see something in brand A and see something in CDE as well, for me, that's equal importance as compared to what I would see in one brand in
Yeah.
analytics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that really helps us define these hypotheses for experimentation, and getting some kind of like the qualitative data, getting it more quantitative, because it's easier to get the leadership buy-in if we have that qualitative data. It's like I hear it in 10 usability tests, but one A/B test says the same thing, then it's, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. It, yeah, it's not an equal weighting, is it?
It's there at every company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You do have to deal with that. Um, nice. Yeah, no, super interesting. I guess moving on a little bit just into in terms of product design. I know you mentioned like you kind of work collaboratively, but I guess um, yeah, what role do you think typically should product design play in shaping growth strategies? Um, and do you have any examples when like design thinking has elevated an experiment's outcome?
Definitely, because it's kind of like, as I said, it's about like the user journey. Where in the user journey, a lot
Yeah.
of people do everybody in the organization who's creating that hypothesis understands the end-to-end journey. It could be that somebody wants something which would just help a marketing check mark,
Mm.
but does it
Yeah.
impact the user end to end? Or like my favorite, forms. I just love testing on forms, and it's one of the things that I see as one of the main pain points across a lot of companies. But and they're highly regulated and compliant, required. But is it accessible? Is it are we do we really need a form, and all those things around it? That's when like product design come into place to understand how do we solve this problem,
Yeah.
instead of let's
Yeah.
just add a pop-up.
Yeah. Yeah. Never, that's
Yeah,
never
yeah,
not
because
normally
we
the best
we
idea.
yeah, we work with like customer journeys day in day out. We
Yeah.
understand our users. We look at a lot of qualitative data all the time, and then it kind of like becomes easier for us to understand what could be a potential solution. And
Yeah.
then it's always good to test those ideas and solutions instead of blindly assuming, yeah, I have reduced this copy, or I've changed this button color, or
Yeah.
I've moved
Yeah.
this component from position X to Y, would work.
Yeah. 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 So
So
getting design involved early in the process is kind of the best
yeah,
way, right? Yeah.
definitely. Like early
With
on, when you're just
yeah.
conceptualizing what you want to do,
Yeah.
I have been like I've been stating this in wherever I've worked, that
My name is Romo Santiago, founder of Experimentation. Our new book, Prove It or Lose It, the mostly no-nonsense guide to surviving experimentation program drama, is out now. Find it at experimentation.com and all major bookstores today.
design should be involved early on as possible, because
Mm.
there have been incidences where business teams have invested a year and two and then asked design, can you just draw this in the Figma and then send it to developers? But that's not what
Yeah.
design is.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not graphic designers, we are product designers, so we do want to understand how this would affect user. We want to do testing, we want to do the research
Yeah.
behind it. It
Yeah.
should not be just personal opinion. Hey, this competitor has it, let's do it.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a big thought process that goes into it all, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
you never know that the competitor tested that thing or not. I
Yeah.
personally like it, that's why I'm saying let that competitor has it. That's just a
Yeah.
personal opinion, not a user's opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's very different. Yeah. And also competitors have different audiences, like, sometimes, so yeah, it's a whole thing. Definitely come across that a lot as well.
Yeah, that
So I know, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was saying that's why like the governance, responsibility, inclusivity, all of those things
Mm,
are kind of like part of this ethical testing framework
yeah,
that definitely need to be there in each and every company. And
yeah,
with companies that are growing towards that experimentation culture, if they do this early on, it's better for them than just
yeah,
getting burdened with these things that happen with time.
yeah, yeah. It gives you a much better chance of success, right? Get
Definitely.
following that approach. Yeah. I guess so. The other framework I quite liked that we discussed was the are you dealing with a leak or just a puddle? So I think it's a great one to like frame the problem you're facing. So how do you train teams, I guess, to tell the difference? And how does that influence what they test?
And so we do have like just to explain what is like this framework, leak and puddle.
Yeah,
It, it's something that I read somewhere in a totally non-design book, and I really like that metaphor to use it in the workshop format that we have. And I'm famous in my work. If I have like different frameworks, I keep these like icebergs, Stinky Fish, Puddle.
I like
So
it.
it's but this particular one is more towards like the puddles. If you see literally, they kind of like clear with time. But if you have a leaky ceiling, it would become worse and worse with time, and it can be more expensive to fix later. So the workshop format is to identify these leaky ceilings and ignore the muddy puddles, because it could be that
Yeah.
a stakeholder might see this is the muddy puddle as like one of like a bigger problem at that particular instant, but does it like really need to be solved? It will
Yeah.
be fixed in few days because of a new feature coming in, or customers understanding, getting that maturity to understand the behavior. But the leaky ceilings, you can't really fix them by adding another feature on it. You have to fix the underlying problem, otherwise the ceiling will be worse,
Yeah.
and you'll be so the whole thing is about understanding these hidden problems. And it's a team thing. We have like different stakeholders and different collaborators from different teams sit
Okay.
together for a few hours, go through the customer journey and define these things. This is my idea, this is a problem, this is something that we are doing right. And then we kind of like group it together to understand priorities, things that we want to ideate, and even take ownership amongst us, whoever joined that workshop, that
Okay.
if it is a content thing, this is how we will solve
Yeah.
these are the content issues, or we have to take this with compliance. Why are we doing these things? Is it an interpretation, or is it like a strict requirement? Those kind of things. So it comes really handy as a format to just get qualitative data. And the whole team, they have been working with different aspects of the user journey. So it's a lot of like knowledge and ideas together as a team that we can work, instead of running in different directions like a children's league.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have this problem, I have this problem, and then you get like overlapping features in the roadmap. So this is something that just avoids those things.
Okay. So the workshops, do you run them like internally for the teams, the
Yeah,
companies that you work at, or is it? Yeah. Yeah.
internally with the teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really big, but not really small either. So it's maximum 10 people.
Okay. Yeah. And how long do they normally last?
I usually break them into like multiple days,
Okay.
because it's really difficult to get time of so many people at a stretch. So,
Yeah.
and it gets really like tiring mentally. You get
Yeah.
exhausted. So I try to like break it. So one day is just putting the stickies on the customer journeys,
Oh, yeah.
probably an hour. They do 1 hour again. Uh, we group those stickies, define action points, define impact, effort mapping,
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes like several days, but I would
Yeah.
say around like the shortest one could be, say, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. It's good to split it, I think, because it is hard to get. I mean, also it's taxing on your brain power and stuff. You have other stuff to be doing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because I mean, product discovery and there's lots of different ways like to approach it, right? And that's a good way, interesting, super interesting way to think about it. And I guess facilitation is also like a bit of a skill in those types of workshops. So yeah,
Yeah, keeping the people
Yeah,
engaged, not getting
yeah,
bored.
yeah, exactly.
And especially when it's supposed to be like 3 4 hour workshop that you're splitting per day, then you need
Yeah,
people to connect what they did on day one. They have to pick it
yeah,
up from day two again. But if you do it at a stretch, then okay, now I'm tired, I need coffee, or I don't,
yeah.
they become less productive towards
Let's
the end.
engage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and also to
Um,
get that ownership and
yeah,
from the people who attended that, okay, the PMs take this bit, design takes this bit,
yeah,
we test these things, those kind of things. It also takes like nobody really like raises the hand that okay, I volunteer to do this. It's kind of like now with time, when I was doing earlier workshops, the team wasn't that mature enough to understand
okay,
these things. So it
yeah, yeah,
used to be like more authoritative. You do this, you do this, but now it comes naturally that
nice,
yeah, we will do this. It's our area. We have to check the email contents. We will
yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
nice. Do you want to tell us about the Stinky Fish workshop as well? Because I thought that was quite an interesting interesting concept.
It's quite similar
It's
to
similar.
this one,
Okay.
and has a similar analogy onto that.
Mm.
If you keep fish for a long time, it becomes stinkier and stinkier.
Yeah.
So the problems you're just shoving down the carpet instead of pulling them up. They will become
Okay.
a bigger and bigger problem, and then you can't band-aid them with a new feature.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's they're pretty similar workshops, but with the leaky puddle and the muddy and the leaky ceiling one, it's more like we ignore the muddy ones.
Mm.
But in Stinky Fish, we sometimes do take care of the muddy ones as well,
Okay. Yeah.
because it could be that uh, there is a huge long roadmap. Uh, Fixing that muddy thing would also take many months or probably years. So
Yeah.
then it's better to fix that
Yeah.
temporarily.
So- yeah. 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 So sometimes you might need to patch something up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And it's like Stinky Fish is more on like more micro level, while
Okay.
the other one is more macro level to
Macro.
understand the problems that user may be feeling more emotionally
Mm.
or sentimental or across like
Yeah.
the whole, like not just the online journey but the whole journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. I think that's super cool. So yeah, couple more questions. Um, I guess moving into like experimentation in terms of yeah, I guess how do you balance bold ideas with safe bets? Um, and I know you've got these kind of frameworks and things that help with that, but yeah, how do you approach those
You answered
classic
half of
class?
the.
Pardon?
You already answered it. It's the frameworks that really
Yeah,
help, the
yeah, yeah,
guardrails that we have. But it's also this thing I really encourage people to add experiments in the work that they are doing organically. Uh, to
yeah,
not just assume that this is a solution that I think is good, and not wait for the whole big thing to be tested. You can test iteratively. You can test
mm,
smaller wins that pile up to confirm your assumption that
yeah,
if I do this as a huge project, it would be a success because it is backed on these smaller other tests that
mm,
I've done.
yeah,
So definitely it would be as beneficial as possible if these experiments are done more organically in the
yeah,
roadmap to validate
yeah,
what we are doing is the right thing that we're doing.
yeah. Um, and do you know how do you normally plan it? Is it like on a quarterly basis, and then you would have like a certain number of safe bets balanced by like one big bet or something? Like, is there like that sort of
But it's more
structure, or is
like
it
they
more
need
organic?
to go hand in hand, because it's kind of
Mm.
like when you're doing investments, you do that
Yeah,
uh, split between the risk and the safe stocks.
yeah,
So you do have one stock that's like safe stock that I have invested, but you would have another stock where you've invested as a high risk.
mm. Yeah,
And you, as a person,
similar.
you would want to do both of them at the same time.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like this for these as well. They need to go
Yeah.
hand in hand, but it's also this thing like, when do you get resources? How many resources do you
Yeah.
get? Those kind of
Yeah.
things really
Yeah.
define the thing, even if you plan a lot in advance.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, we have like 13 sites, so we have a luxury of testing on a lot of things.
a lot. Yeah. Nice. I guess yeah, more generally, if you could A/B test anything in everyday life, um from coffee routines to Spotify playlists, what would you test?
Well, this is a tough one. I can think of something. Okay, I do paint
Hmm.
as commissions or as a
Oh, nice.
hobby sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I always try or want. I wouldn't say try. I would say I want to paint daily.
Hmm.
So I
Oh,
would
yeah.
want to test this thing whether I can paint daily or I paint whenever I feel like, once in a while
Hmm.
when I get time. But I'd be surprised if I happen to paint daily. It will always be a negative test. I will never be able to paint daily, how much ever I want to, but
Yeah.
never.
And would it help with other stuff that you do during the day? Maybe it will like calm you down and
Yeah, because I would feel like, okay,
maybe,
do I have to choose between reading a book or painting?
yeah,
Okay, reading a book is much more easy. I don't have to pull out my paints and paper and everything. So let's
yeah,
just read for a while. But that's why it's kind of like always gets tricky with this.
yeah. You need to identify the parameters that you need to make it happen. Is the one in the background yours?
Yes, that too.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
looks super,
yeah,
yeah, super nice. Big.
yeah. It's called Sun and Moon.
Nice. Yeah, very, very nice. You should do more.
I do have an exhibition coming up soon in September.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, have to let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I had one in May, so it's this year has been like a bit busy with
Yeah,
side projects.
yeah. Cool. No, that's super interesting. Yeah, nice. That's a good side project to have, I think. Very creative and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Keeps me busy and keeps me calm.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Yeah, I'm not so good at painting, but my thing's I do martial arts to keep me calm, so that's quite nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
super nice.
Cool. Well, look, that's pretty much a wrap, I think. Huge thanks to for sharing your insights. Been super interesting. Definitely learned a lot. Um, I guess to the community, if you enjoyed the episode, like give us a follow, leave a review, share it with someone who geeks out on experimentation like we do. And if you do have any questions or thoughts or like have your own like frameworks and things, just hit us up on LinkedIn or through the community. Be happy to have a chat. But yeah, until next time, keep testing boldly and ethically.
Thank you for having me here today. It was a great conversation that we had. And if your audience want to learn more about ethical testing or anything related to design and data, they can reach out to me on my LinkedIn, and they can find my LinkedIn profile in the description below. Thank you
Cool.
again.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot. Until next time. Bye.
My name is Romo Santiago, founder of Experiment Nation. Our new book, Prove It or Lose It, the mostly no-nonsense guide to surviving experimentation program drama, is out now. Find it at experimentnation.com and all major bookstores today.